Cobra Kai Season 6 is literally only a few days away, and I'm literally trying to rush to get this video out, because if I get this out after the first part of the season is out, then sheesh, the comments are going to be roasting me. But before the season actually releases, I wanted to put out at least one more video before it came out. I thought the best way to do that is to make a theory describing the way I will write the first part of Season 6. Though when the first part comes out, I won't change the story, so it will line up with the first part of Cobra Kai. I'll just make this its own version, and I'll make the part 2 predictions different from this prediction series. So one video will be the continuation to this prediction series covering part 2, and the other video will be theorizing what part 2 can look like after seeing the first part. So basically you can view this as like a what if, or whatever. But this video is going to be like very long. I hope this is not going to be an hour long, but I'm actually expecting this is going to be like a 30 to 40 minute video because of how long the script is for this video. But with that said, let's not waste too much time on the intro because this video is very long, and let's get into episode 1, Alliance. I know the season 6 titles are known, at least I think, but I try to avoid spoilers like that, so I'll make my own episode titles. The episode will start with Miguel and Robbie watching the finals of the last Saikai Taikai, and the two boys will scream as the Saikai Taikai winner scores a point, winning the Saikai Taikai. But after this, Johnny comes downstairs with Carmen and tells the boys that they're being a little too loud, and they need to be a little more quiet and to move over so he and Carmen can sit down. Miguel and Robbie will agree, and Johnny will turn on the news that says 3 doctors were assaulted, and they'll get more information once the doctors are in a stable condition. Once the TV went to commercial, Carmen will ask Johnny if it was Terry Silver, and Johnny will say no. Terry Silver wouldn't do that before his sentencing is finalized. So Carmen will ask Johnny if it was possible that it was Kreese, and Johnny will say that he is not sure, though it is not the first time he has faked his death. So that's a very good possibility, and that just means that he, Daniel, and Chosen will have to teach the kids more seriously. Robbie and Miguel will look at each other as they hear the news, and Johnny's words, knowing what this means. A few hours later, back in the LaRusso household, Daniel and Amanda will be talking and laughing before Chosen approaches them with a cup of coffee in his hand and the newspaper in another, and Chosen's eyes will widen and says ex-Cobra Kai sensei escaped prison. Daniel will ask Chosen if he means Kreese, and Chosen will say yes. Amanda will then look back at Daniel, telling him that that means that Kreese is actually alive, and that this karate war still isn't over, since Kreese is still out there. Daniel will say that this isn't the first time that Kreese faked his death, but that just means that he, Chosen, and Johnny will have to train the kids harder. But before they do that, Daniel will have to talk to Chosen and Johnny about the dojo name for the Saikai Taikai, because there's no doubt that Kreese will try to pick up Cobra Kai for the Saikai Taikai. Back at Carmen's house, Johnny will get a call from Daniel, and Daniel will tell Johnny everything about Kreese escaping prison, and Johnny will say that he heard. So that means that they'll have to train their kids harder for the tournament, because there is no way Kreese will give up on Cobra Kai and do as much as he can to take back ownership before the tournament begins. Daniel will say that they can worry about that later, and they need to discuss their dojo name. Johnny will agree, and he'll tell Carmen and the boys that he has to go. He'll kiss Carmen, then tells Robbie and Miguel they should go somewhere and have fun, because when training picks back up, the training will be much more difficult. Miguel and Robbie will agree. Then Miguel will ask Robbie if he wanted to go to Golf and Stuff, and Robbie will say hell yeah. Now we'll switch to Golf and Stuff, where we don't see Miguel and Robbie, but instead Sean and Kenny. And Kenny has just finished telling Sean everything that's happened since he was in jail, and Sean will tell Kenny to not worry, because when he sees Keen, he'll make sure he teaches him a lesson. Robbie and Miguel will arrive at Golf and Stuff, and they'll have fun playing the games until they go into the ball punching game that will remind Miguel of when he first started training with Johnny. So Robbie and Miguel will get in one line as Kenny and Sean gets into the other. Some time will pass, and Miguel and Robbie will arrive at the top of the line, and the Payne brothers will do the same. Robbie and Kenny will be let in, but instead of them both trying to counter the ball attack, Kenny starts attacking Robbie, shocking him. He didn't want to say anything to not piss off Kenny, but soon Robbie will have to defend himself while fighting back. Back in Miyagi-Do Karate, Johnny, Chosen, and Daniel will meet up, and Daniel will tell them both that they'll have to think of a dojo name, and Johnny and Chosen, without question, already made up their minds, saying it's Miyagi-Do. Daniel will ask if they're sure. He'll even ask Johnny if he'll like for it to be called Miyagi Fang, but Johnny will say no. The dojo will basically be Miyagi Fang because of their forces aligning, but Johnny will tell Daniel that Miyagi-Do has been around much longer, and changing the name will kind of be disrespectful of the dojo that Miyagi created. But Johnny will tell Daniel that it can get some change-ups though. Daniel will automatically say no, so Johnny will say fine. They'll fight over it in a 3-point match. Daniel will be down for this, but Chosen will tell Daniel no. He's already fought Sensei. He wants to try and fight. And Johnny will agree. He always wanted a shot at Chosen. And after a while, Daniel will agree to be the ref of this match and set for the match to begin. And Johnny will attack first, with Chosen blocking. Back at Golf and Stuff, Robbie and Kenny will fight, with Robbie pushing back Kenny. But Sean won't like this, and he'll jump in, pushing Robbie. So Miguel will jump in, trying to hit Sean. Sean will ask Miguel to stay out of this. He's only trying to defend his brother. But Miguel won't back down. He'll tell Sean that he won't let him hurt Robbie. He won't let him bully on a family member of his. Miguel and Sean will fight for a while Kenny fights Robbie. And soon the opponents will switch. And Miguel will fight Kenny as Robbie fights Sean. Some more time will pass as they continue to fight, but the pitching machine will be activated once Sean is kicked into it by Robbie. Sean will be knocked out, but a ball from the pitching machine will head towards Robbie, and they'll hit Robbie, knocking him out. From this distraction, Kenny tried to attack Miguel, but he was able to knock out Kenny and defend himself from the ball rushing at him. So Miguel picked up Robbie and escaped, leaving Kenny and Sean to recover on their own. Back to the Sensei's battle is close to its end, with Johnny and Chosen having 2 points each. Chosen was able to get his previous point with a pressure point, but Johnny, after seeing a pressure point way too much, he was actually able to counter it. Not only counter it, but mimic it, showing that he's actually picked up on some of Chosen and Daniel's training, and lands the final point on Chosen, shocking both Daniel and Chosen himself. But we'll cut away from the teachers and go to what Sam is doing. Sam is in the woods, and she is training with Anthony. We pick back up in Korea, where Kim Da-eun retreated after the loss of Terry Silver. Kim Da-eun will train her students before she tells the students that she'll be gone for a couple of days. Kim will tell her students that her other senseis and her star student will be the ones leading the dojo while she is gone. The students will agree, and we'll pick back up with some of the Miyagi Fang students, where we see what they've been doing at this time. Devin has been training on her own, trying to find out what dojo she should really be a part of. She was trying to be a part of Eagle Fang, but that shut it down. She went to Topanga, but that was shut down, and that wasn't really meant for her. She went to Cobra Kai, and it did make her into a stronger fighter, but she almost turned into something that she didn't want to be. But after a while, Devin will decide that she'll go back to Miyagi-Do. Plus, that's the only real dojo she really actually feels a part of now. And she's already grown a bond with people like Sam and Johnny. So maybe she should go back. And maybe Johnny, Daniel, and that new teacher Chosen can teach her things that she hasn't seen before. And Devin always liked Johnny's teachings, especially because it helped her get all the way to the quarterfinals in the Saikai Taikai. So she'll decide to go back to Miyagi-Do. With Chris, Mitch, Nate, and Bert, they'll all be talking about Mitch's betrayal. But after a while of arguing, Mitch will agree to go back to Miyagi-Do. With Tori, she'll be back at her house. She won't know what to do. Her mother is getting even more sick. And with her dojo basically being shut down, basically forever, to her knowledge, she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't want to go to Miyagi-Do because Sam's there. Her and Sam hasn't really gotten over their beef. Yeah, they've bonded trying to take down Cobra Kai, but that was just it. They were just trying to take down Cobra Kai. There's no way Sam will forgive her for everything that she has done. so Tori won't know what to do until she is paid a visit by someone. She opens the door and is shocked to see Devin. She'll be shocked, asking Devin, how did she find her? Devin will say that it wasn't easy, but she basically just looked all over the neighborhood for her. And luckily, when she arrived at this place, the first door she knocked on was Tori's door. Tori will ask her, what is she doing here? And Devin will ask Tori, what is she planning to do now as Cobra Kai is shut down? Tori will tell Devin that she doesn't really know. Cobra Kai is basically all that she's known. The only time she learned anything different from like Miyagi-Do is when Robbie was in the dojo and taught her Miyagi-Do, specifically wax on, wax off. Devin will ask Tori if she's ever had another teacher besides Kreese and Silver, and Tori will say yes. She's trained with Johnny Lawrence for a while before she had to quit for her mother's sake, and Kreese is the one that helped her with her financial difficulties. Devin will nod in understandment and will say that they can bond over having Johnny as a teacher. Tori will tell Devin that she's never lost respect for Johnny Lawrence. She always knew that he was an incredible teacher. But Kreese helped her when she was in need, and Miguel really pissed her off the last time they encountered each other before he got with Sam. Devin will nod at what Tori is saying, and Devin will ask Tori if she's ever thought about going back to Johnny's teachings. And Tori will say, yes, she have actually. Ever since Kreese let her down, she's thought about going back to Johnny, but it wasn't really that easy. Johnny's teaming up with two other senseis. One sensei she actually knows, because before Devin went to Cobra Kai, Chosen actually trained her for a bit, and actually persuaded her to go talk to Silver. But with Daniel though, he is the father of Sam, and her and Sam, they don't really have a good relationship. Devin will nod, but Devin will also say that maybe joining Miyagi-Do, it'll help her and Sam get closer. And not only that, but she'll probably learn moves that she never even expected would actually help in a fight. And maybe she'll be picked for the Saikai Taikai thing and actually win. Tori will say that she is unsure, because after everything that she's done to Sam, she's basically traumatized her after the school fight. She broke into her house, and even though it wasn't her fault, she basically won the All Valley by cheating. She'll say that Sam did some terrible things to her as well, but they weren't to the extent that she went to. Yeah, Sam basically kissed Miguel, but she didn't have to start that whole school fight. Not only that, but Kreese got into her mind so much that she broke into Daniel's house. She can never forgive herself for that. Amanda, Sam's mom, she did, but she wouldn't blame Daniel or Sam for not forgiving her for what she's did. That was just unforgivable. But Devin will stop Tori and say that the first thing she needs to do is forgive herself. Yeah, those are bad things, but it's never too late to turn things around. Look at her. She was almost corrupted by Kim Da-eun, but she changed right at the end when it was important. All Tori needs to do is do the same thing. Tori will look at Devin and nod, thanking her for the talk. And Devin will smile. And she'll say she's also thought of joining Miyagi-Do, and it will be fun to see her there as well. Tori will nod as Devin leaves. Now the episode would end with the Saikai Taikai committee asking Daniel, Chosen, and Johnny what their dojo name is. Johnny will show the committee the gi and says that their name is Miyagi-Do. The committee will bow and leave with Johnny saying, since they're seriously going with this, they'll need some help. Daniel will ask, what is Johnny talking about? And Chosen will tell Daniel, they know him all too well. Bad boy of karate, Mike Barnes. And the senseis will signal Daniel to turn around to see Mike Barnes there. He'll bow down to Daniel before saying he knows it's not his fight, but he knows that Silver won't stop till he gets what he wants, which is to be in the Saikai Taikai. And if that is the case, and Silver does get in somehow, even though Cobra Kai is kicked out, that'll lead the students into even more danger than the Saikai Taikai already is for the students. It's time. The bad boy of karate comes out of retirement. Episode 2, Bad Boy. The episode starts off with us seeing John Kreese in a bar. He is trying to lay low since he escaped from jail. And while in the bar, Kreese will see on the news that Terry Silver has gotten arrested. This will make Kreese chuckle. But he wasn't able to watch more because someone turned off the TV. Kreese will tell them to turn the TV back on. He was watching that. But the person will laugh, saying they don't care, telling Kreese to make them. But instead of fighting, Kreese stood down and instead just left the bar. Kreese will walk around before he is stopped by someone who says he's very hard to track down. Kreese will turn around to see Kim Da-eun. Kreese will ask, who is she? And Kim will ask Kreese, does he not remember her? Kim will tell Kreese that his teacher is her grandfather. Kreese will have a widened expression, saying that she is the granddaughter of Kim Se-young, Kim Da-eun. Kreese will ask Kim, what does she want with him? And Kim will say that she wanted to team up with him. She teamed up with his ex-partner, Terry Silver. But he disappointed her, and she respected Kreese way more. So she will want to team up with him to participate in the Saikai Taikai. And after some persuasion, Kreese will agree to team up with Kim. So Kim will show Kreese a ticket to Korea, and Kim will tell Kreese to join her. Currently, all of his old students don't respect the dojo anymore. And because of Terry Silver's legal troubles, Cobra Kai was kicked out of the tournament. So they need to set up a new Cobra Kai to participate in the Saikai Taikai. Kreese will agree, so Kreese and Kim will fly to Korea. And back at the Miyagi-Do dojo, all of the students are introduced to Mike Barnes. He will be a new teacher in Miyagi-Do because he actually got some experiences in the tournament, and he's actually been in the Saikai Taikai himself. And Mike Barnes will tell the students that Daniel is correct. He entered the Saikai Taikai, which was another reason why he was recruited by Terry Silver, besides him being well known in the Valley. But the Saikai Taikai was brutal, and that's why he needs to put these kids into shape if they're really sure they want to be in the Saikai Taikai. And he believes that these kids have even better potential than he ever had. He thinks these kids can not only go further than he did in the Saikai Taikai, but win it all. The students will smile at Mike Barnes. And in this introduction to Mike Barnes, we'll even see Tori join the dojo and Devin rejoin it. Sam won't be happy to see Tori, but Robbie is, and he'll greet Tori, saying that he's glad that she decided to train at Miyagi-Do. Tori will tell Robbie that it wasn't all of her decision. She has to thank Devin for that, but she is happy she is here because she gets to see Robbie. The two will share a moment before training begins, with Sam and Tori training with Mike Barnes, Miguel and Robbie training with Daniel, Hawk and Anthony training with Johnny, and Dimitri and Devin training with Chosen. There's more students training as well, but those are the main students. Anthony will have a hard time adapting to Johnny's teachings, especially because they don't respect each other at all. But Johnny will tell Anthony that they never seen eye to eye, but Johnny will tell Anthony if there is anything he should take away from his training, it's that things aren't just handed to him. He has to learn to put in the hard work. Also because if he doesn't, he'll never grow. And Anthony, since he's had training from Daniel and Sam by now, he'll actually take these words to heart and apologizes to Johnny for being a prick. With Mike Barnes, he'll try to train with Tori and Sam, but the two will continue to fight with each other, kind of frustrating Mike. And Mike will try to not get mad at them, but it's very hard. This will lead into the students taking a break, and Tori will walk away from Sam and Mike. But she doesn't leave the dojo. She goes into the dojo's inside, looking back at Robbie and Miguel. She doesn't want to leave. She wants to make things right, like they did. Tori will go up to Daniel and Amanda, telling them that she wants to make things right. That's why she joined the dojo. But Sam is kind of being difficult, and Daniel will defend Sam's actions, telling Tori what does she expect. She attacked his daughter, left her basically traumatized for a while, broke into his house, and cheated at the All Valley. But Amanda will stop him, telling Daniel that Tori has grown a lot since back then, and him reminding Tori of those actions while she is trying to change is so wrong, especially in this context where she is trying to make things right. When they first met, they would have never expected Tori to join the dojo, but here she is. Daniel will think of Amanda's words and agrees and apologizes to Tori before he suggests to Tori to just fight Sam with no limitations except for killing, but Amanda will say that that's a little extreme and Tori should just talk to Sam. Daniel and Amanda will argue, and Tori will walk out and instead go up to Robbie and Miguel and ask them how they became friends. And Robbie and Miguel will explain everything that happened between them, and Tori will thank Robbie and Miguel, and the next thing will show that the training's picked back up, with Daniel taking over training with Sam and Tori, Miguel and Hawk training under Chosen, Robbie and Anthony will train under Mike Barnes, and Dimitri and Mitch will train with Johnny. With Daniel's training, he'll just go with his plan of putting Tori and Sam against each other, with there being no rules except for killing, and Sam will win this match. But when she is going to land a final blow, she doesn't, and she lifts up Tori. Tori will ask Sam, why did she stop? And Sam will answer Tori's question, as she says that she's tired of hating Tori. Her even being at the dojo surprises her. This really means that Tori has really changed for the better. So she forgives Tori for everything that she has done. This will shock Tori, and Tori will be reluctant to accept this. But after seeing the smile on Sam and Daniel's faces, and her looking over to see Chosen and Johnny, the other teachers that she's trained under before, she'll smile and nod, thanking Sam for this forgiveness. Though the idea of Sam forgiving Tori is really just a shocker for her, and she cannot believe how Sam would actually show mercy to her after everything that she has done. Not only Sam, but Daniel and Amanda. Like, this whole thing is a whole nother step for her. And the episode will end with us seeing Terry Silver in jail, planning a way to get out of this legal dispute. Episode 3, Reunions. The episode will start at school, where we see Hawk and Dimitri enter the school and dab up Big Red and Edwin. Big Red and Edwin will ask Dimitri and Hawk, what are they up to? And Dimitri and Hawk will explain that they're really thinking of what they'll do after school. They're now seniors, but they both agree that they wanted to go to college. But they weren't sure what college they'll go to. But they know that the college they want to go to will be in the valley so they can continue to practice at the dojo. And Edwin and Big Red will tell Dimitri and Hawk they already know where they want to go, and they'll say that it's far away, so they won't be in the dojo for long. Hawk will tell the two that they cannot leave the dojo. They're training for the biggest karate tournament of their lives. They can't lose members now. But Edwin and Big Red will tell Hawk that sometimes, to follow your dreams, you'll have to make extreme decisions. Dimitri and Hawk will have different reactions. Hawk's reaction is an angry one, while Dimitri actually understands. Hawk will say that he doesn't understand. Why would they choose school over karate? But Big Red will tell Hawk that not everyone is like him. They have other priorities. Hawk will sigh and understand as they go to their new class. Then the next scene we see is the school bell ringing, and Miguel, Sam, Robbie, and Tori will exit the class, and Robbie will thank Miguel for getting him back into school, and Miguel will say, of course, if he wasn't the one to bring Robbie back into the school, he wouldn't have got in, so he was really his only way, since he was the student that got hurt here. And because he was happy with Robbie coming back to school, the school administrators had no other choice but to bring him back. Sam and Tori will also talk, and they'll all laugh, going into the lunchroom. They'll get their food and separate, as Sam and Miguel sit at one table, and Tori and Robbie will sit at another. And Sam will talk to Miguel about the Saikai Taikai, and says that Mike Barnes are putting them through intense training. This must mean that the tournament is going to be insane, and as crazy as Mike Barnes says it will be. Miguel will say that he's won in All Valley before, so he should be fine. But Sam will tell Miguel that they're training way harder than they ever did before, even for the All Valley. This means that the tournament they are participating in is bigger than the All Valley, Miguel will ask Sam, "What is she saying?" And Sam will tell Miguel, "That is one thing to be the best in the valley, it's another to be the best in the world." Miguel will nod at this, understanding what Sam is saying. At the same time, Tori will talk to Robbie about the same topic. Tori says that the Saikai Taikai is her last chance to finally do what she always wanted to do, get a victory. The All Valley was the chance that she had, and she did get a win, but Silver paid off the ref. But now that Silver is locked up, she will finally have a chance with Miyagi-Do. Robbie will tell Tori that he's happy that she's in Miyagi-Do. Tori will say yeah, with Cobra Kai out, she had no other option. But with Sensei Lawrence, Sensei Taguchi's, and Sensei Barnes' teachings, those are all teachings that she is used to. So it's not like she's an outcast. And she does know a little bit of Miyagi-Do thanks to Robbie. So it's not all bad that she is in Miyagi-Do. And the defense training is good. Tori will then look at Sam before saying, "Not all is good though, because she and Sam still has problems." Yeah, they can actually tolerate each other now and train under the same teachers and have a good laugh, but she just can't imagine Sam forgiving her. Like, she thinks that it's a bad thing, really. Robbie will say that it's not. That just means that even Sam, out of all people, thinks that there's good in Tori. But Robbie would then say that he is worried about Kenny, and Tori will tell Robbie that she is sure Kenny will come around. Robbie just has to reach out to him. Robbie will turn around to see Kenny eating alone. Robbie will then turn another way to see Anthony, and says that it won't be easy, but he's got a plan. And because it's the first day of school, it's the best time. It's the best time he does this, because if he doesn't, then not only will Kenny have a bad school year, but Anthony will as well. So he'll make sure after school that this whole thing with Kenny and Anthony gets resolved. Robbie will say that Kenny probably has more training than Anthony, but he's been training Anthony as well. And not only that, but Anthony's actually learning from his father, and he knows that things won't come easy to him. So maybe he'll also want to reach out to Kenny as well, and try to get rid of all of this beef that they have between each other. Tori will tell Robbie that they've basically had the same amount of teachings, with Anthony even having double the teachings, with there being 4 teachers at the dojo, being Sensei Lawrence, Sensei Taguchi, Sensei LaRusso, and Sensei Barnes, while Kenny's only trained with 3 senseis. Well, basically 2, since he hasn't trained with one in a while, being Sensei Silver and Sensei O'Neill. So taken from that, she's sure that Anthony can defend himself from Kenny. And this will give Robbie an idea. Defense. That is something Kenny isn't good at, which is why he loses most of his fights. And the time when he did win a serious match against Talk, that was because of the silver bullet. That was a dangerous move by Terry Silver. Kenny has great offense, but when it comes to defense, Kenny doesn't have a lot of that. But Anthony, he does have that. So maybe if he makes Anthony go on the offensive like Johnny, and Kenny go on the defensive like Daniel, they will both understand both of their teachings and forgive each other. It's a huge stretch, but Robbie does really think that it'll work. Tori will say yeah, but there's one more thing on her mind. Kim Da-eun, she doesn't know where she is at, but she's probably at Korea, since she talks about it a lot and says that she has students over there as well. And as Tori says this, we pick back up in Korea, where Kim and Kreese are training the new students. And Kreese will say that Kwon has a lot of potential, maybe even more than Johnny ever had. Kim will ask Kreese if he's really given up on Johnny. Silver couldn't shut down the challenge of Miyagi-Do, which led to his defeat. But she'll ask Kreese to not make history repeat itself. Is he really over Johnny? Because if not, he should leave. She shall not have weakness in her dojo. Kreese will watch Kim walk off, and he'll remember Johnny, and will remember that he's betrayed his trust alongside Daniel. So Kreese will want to get his revenge. He shall show no mercy to Johnny, even though Johnny is one of the people he really cared about. Betrayal is nothing to show mercy for. So he'll put his thoughts of Johnny in the back of him as he follows Kim to train, though Johnny is still in the back of his head. Back in Miyagi Do, all of the senseis are having a conversation, and Mike will say that they don't know what they're up against. And him seeing the arguments between Tori and Sam has really made him worried for this dojo. Daniel will ask Mike, what does he mean? And Mike will say that he'll need a takeover training for today. Daniel will try to deny this, but Johnny and Chosen will stop him, saying that Mike Barnes' way of training might be the way to go. Daniel will continue to fight this, saying that the rotation training is the way to go. The different teacher a day will throw off the students. But Johnny, Mike, and Chosen will continue to fight against Daniel's judgment. Daniel and Johnny will glare at each other, and Daniel would even want to fight over this himself. But Mike has had enough, and yelled enough to Daniel and Johnny. Johnny will like the aggression from Mike Barnes, and Mike will tell Daniel that he asked him for help. But Daniel will say actually Chosen and Johnny asked him for help. But Mike Barnes will step into Daniel's face and says that they cannot win the Saikai Taikai without him. Him actually knowing about the Saikai Taikai and having experience in it is good for their dojo. And he should know himself that he is the best shot they have of winning this tournament. So he'll tell Daniel this: it's his way or the highway. Daniel, after hearing this, will just nod. So that means Mike Barnes will take over training for the day. Back at the school, the final bell rang, and all the students exited the school. But before Kenny left, Robbie stopped him. But Kenny tried to fight Robbie, but Robbie was able to block, thanks to his defense. And he'll remember one story Daniel and Johnny told him about. When Johnny left Daniel to strike first and defeat some hockey players who were making jokes about his wife, Robbie decided to take this lesson and help Kenny and Anthony squash their beef. And one last match, with Robbie trying to make Kenny use Miyagi-Do and make Anthony strike first, basically wanting Kenny to be put on the defensive, while Anthony uses Johnny's teachings and uses strike first. But Robbie doesn't tell them any of this, and Robbie will bring Kenny into a classroom before he dodges one of Kenny's attacks and locks the door from the outside, making Kenny bang on the door. But we'll take time away from this and pick back up with Hawk, Dimitri, and Miguel. They've all been looking for colleges, and one college in particular has caught in all of their eyes. And luckily, a college tour was open, so they decided to apply for this, and they were approved. So Miguel, Hawk, and Dimitri will arrive at this college, and they'll be shocked as they run into Kyler, who has actually changed. He actually goes to the college that Miguel, Hawk, and Dimitri is checking out, and he's been getting bullied by these upper class students. And Kyler would say ever since he learned karate, it didn't help him win anything. So he decided to quit karate and go to college. But he's been getting picked on, and he decided to not fight back, to put himself into Miguel, Dimitri, and Hawk's shoes. But Dimitri will tell Kyler that he's happy he's changed, but no one should be getting bullied on, even someone who used to be a bully. Kyler will thank Dimitri before going up to one of his bullies, who tells him to move out of the way, but Kyler doesn't budge before the person tries to punch Kyler, but Kyler catches the punch and nexes the guy. Doesn't he know he knows karate? And fights his bully, with Miguel, Dimitri, and Hawk coming in to fight the bullies, because this will turn into a full-on fight, with all the bullies trying to gain up on Kyler. Soon the bullies will leave, and Miguel, Hawk, Dimitri, and Kyler will celebrate, before it's time to leave. And Kyler will say that he thinks he's done with his past self and karate for now, and he'll try to become a better person. Dimitri and Kyler will exchange a smile before Miguel, Dimitri, and Hawk leave the college party. Back at the high school, after a while, the door will unlock, but instead of Robbie coming back, Anthony enters the classroom, and Kenny will smile, saying that it looks like the baby's shown himself. Anthony will look back, saying, Robbie, he thinks they have a problem. But Robbie will be nowhere to be seen. Anthony will try to find him, but Kenny will walk up to Anthony, saying that he'll enjoy this. But Anthony has had enough of Kenny's bullying, and remembers all of his teachings, and remembers Johnny's words, saying that things aren't just going to be handed out to him. If he wants something, he has to work for it. And Anthony wants this bullying from Kenny to stop. So Anthony will strike first and punch Kenny. This will make Kenny mad, and he'll try to fight back. But Kenny is put on the back burner, and Kenny will have to resort to using wax on, wax off, after remembering that Robbie taught him that technique. And using this, Kenny pushes back Anthony, and with a combination of styles, he defeats Anthony and pins him to a wall, before punching Anthony repeatedly. But Kenny will notice what he is doing, and Kenny will stop and look at the beaten Anthony. He didn't join karate for this, he joined it to defend himself, not become the bully he wanted to stop. Kenny will stop and lift up Anthony, apologizing for everything. And Anthony will say that he's glad that it's all over. And Anthony will say that he's happy that it's all over. Robbie will walk in, and Anthony will ask him, where was he? And Robbie will say, no be there. But Robbie will look at Kenny and Anthony, and will ask if it's over. Has Kenny stopped being a bully and accepted Anthony's apology? Kenny will look at Anthony and smile, saying yeah. He noticed he wasn't becoming himself. And Anthony will even ask Kenny to join Miyagi-Do, and Kenny will agree. Before they all walk out of the school, before the teacher walked into their classroom, noticing a little mess, but didn't pay any mind to it. We will go back to Miyagi-Do, where Daniel walks around with Amanda and Chosen, remembering Mr. Miyagi and bowing to a picture of him in his room. Daniel will step back before tripping over something, and Daniel asks, what's that? Before he opens the secret tile, seeing a box, Amanda will say that she never noticed that, and Daniel asks if Mr. Miyagi has been hiding secrets. As he puts the box on a table, Chosen will say that he's unsure if it's secrets, but if it is, Mr. Miyagi-san probably hid them for a reason. But if they open it, the secret might be the key to winning the tournament. Daniel will nod at Chosen and Amanda before he opens the box, ending the episode. Episode 4, Dojo Eliminations. The episode will open up with Kenny at home, and he'll tell Sean that he's decided to forgive Robbie and Anthony. Sean will ask Kenny if he's sure, because if not, he'll fight for Kenny. But Kenny will tell Sean that it's fine. He wanted to make things right. It was his fault for being brainwashed by Silver. He wasn't himself, which is why he started the whole fight with Miguel and Robbie last time. And Kenny will say that maybe Sean can join Miyagi-Do with him if he wants to protect him. But Sean will decline Kenny's invite. Sean will tell Kenny that he'll always protect Kenny, but with him now knowing the truth, he is sure Kenny will not only be protected, but he'll learn from good teachers that will help Kenny protect himself. Kenny will nod and thank his brother for everything before he goes to the Miyagi-Do dojo, where Daniel opens the box he found in the last episode and looks at some of the things he sees in the box. A passport and some papers with dates, as well as some pictures of himself. And Mr. Miyagi with Sam Anthony, and Miyagi with a student Daniel's actually seen before, Julie Pierce. Chosen will ask who the woman is, and Daniel will explain that Julie Pierce was a student of Miyagi as well, and he's actually met Julie before, and they trained a few times before she had to move. But Daniel will find something else, a date on some items, in this box. It doesn't make sense. Daniel will want to research this, but training is about to start, so Chosen and Amanda will tell Daniel that they'll take over this for now, and Daniel should go to help teach the students. Daniel will agree and bow to Amanda and Chosen, thanking them for everything, before changing to his gi and going outside to the training deck, alongside Johnny, as Mike Barnes stands in front of them. The bad boy will turn around, asking where's Chosen, but Daniel will say that Chosen has other matters to attend to. Mike will sigh, before he turns around to see all of the students lining up, and Hawk, Miguel, and all the other students, except for Robbie and Anthony, will be shocked to see Kenny. And Mike Barnes will see this, but will yell at all of the students to not worry about that, to line up in 6 straight even lines. The students will do so, and Mike Barnes will tell the students, from today and forward, the training will be different. They're all used to having all their senseis train them all in a rotation. But from now on, a different sensei will teach the students each day, and today to train the students. And he'll tell the students that everyone he knows who's been in the Saikai Taikai had a horror story. So because of this, he'll have to put the students into harder training, putting them through unexpected challenges, and he won't accept fear or any annoying banter between any of the students. And if he sees any of the things he listed down, don't expect to succeed as training, and don't expect to get training for the Saikai Taikai, or even be considered for being one of their students to enter the tournament. And if anyone tries to run to their senseis, don't, because he's had full authority for these eliminations. Daniel will try to tell Mike Barnes to keep it positive, but Barnes will turn around and tell Daniel that he came to him and it was his way or the highway. Johnny will look back at Daniel, but won't say anything. Mike Barnes will yell at the students to get on the sparring deck, and will yell now, as everyone gets on the sparring deck. Once everyone gets on the sparring deck, Mike Barnes will give everyone 6 flags to put around their bodies. The students does so, and Mike Barnes will put everyone into a group of 6, with Miguel, Robbie, Chris, Dimitri, Devin, and Hawk being in one group, while Sam, Tori, Anthony, Mitch, Nate, and Kenny are in another. Mike Barnes will tell the students who are fighting that they have to take each other's flags off of the opposing team, though there can only be one winner, which means each group can attack whoever they want to win this training exercise. Barnes will yell to get ready, and the students will get into a fighting position before he yells attack. While this is happening, Amanda and Chosen will reach Mr. Miyagi's grave, and Chosen will pull out the box and sees Mr. Miyagi's grave dates and aligns it with identification card that was in the box. Amanda will say that it doesn't make sense. Mr. Miyagi cannot have been in the US at this time, because he would have been around 13 years old at the time, and the immigration for the US was shut down at the time. And if these dates were correct, Mr. Miyagi went to the US at 13 years old. But this doesn't make sense. He should have been 18 years old or older to go to the US. And he fought for Japan in World War II. So if this identification card is real, that means that Mr. Miyagi lied about his age for whatever reason. And if that's the case, and lied about his real age before moving to the US. But why? Chosen will say that they'll have to tell this to Daniel-san. But Amanda will tell Chosen to hold on. Remember, Daniel said Mr. Miyagi had another student. Maybe she has more information about this. And Chosen will say, if that is the case, he'll have to go to wherever Julie-san is. And that means he'll take time away from the students. Amanda will say maybe he shouldn't go to her, but meet up with her somewhere close instead, so he doesn't have to move out of the country. And because she and Daniel are so successful, they can fly her out there and talk to her. Chosen will nod before we skip to Korea, where Kim and Kreese decides the dojo name, Cobra Kai, and enters their dojo into the Saikai Taikai. Finally back to Miyagi-Do, everyone is fighting, and Mitch will instantly attack everyone by him, making Nate and Mitch start to argue, which will give Anthony the opportunity to take all of their flags from them, meaning that Mitch and Nate is knocked out and is eliminated. Mike Barnes will tell Mitch that they don't need a traitor on their side. Maybe with the right training, Mitch can change, but with how close the tournament is, they cannot make that risk. At first, everyone will argue, but Mitch will stop them, telling everyone that Sensei Barnes is right. He needs to work on his trust in his teammates. And with everyone else being better at karate than him, he will be just a liability. In the Saikai Taikai, everyone will accept this, and the training exercise will continue, with Sam and Tori beginning to fight each other, as they both have one flag left. But because of their fighting, they both get their flags taken away from them by Devin and Anthony. Barnes will yell at Sam and Tori, but Sam and Tori will continue to fight without their flags, and this fighting session will get way too out of hand. And even though Sam's forgiven Tori, she just couldn't shake off anything that Tori has done, so she tries to take out all of this aggression right now. But Barnes will yell at Sam and Tori, saying that they're both disqualified from this training exercise. but they won't listen. So Barnes will stop the battle, saying that actually he takes that back. They're eliminated from participating in the Taikai Taikai. This will shock everyone, and Daniel will yell at Barnes, saying that he can eliminate their top fighters, but Barnes will tell Tori and Sam that their rivalry is getting in the way of them becoming better fighters. And because of that, they will be a liability if they're entered into the Saikai Taikai. Tori and Sam will leave the sparring deck, and Tori will be infuriated at this. And she'll yell at Sam, saying that this is all her fault. Sam will yell back, saying her fault, she was only doing just Sensei Barnes said. But Tori will say no, Sam wasn't. She was too focused on her. She noticed that Kenny took her flag and tried to stop the fight, hinting at the Miyagi-Do she used in the battle, but Sam just continued to attack her. Sam will notice that she is actually in the wrong, and she'll apologize to Tori. And Tori will accept this, but she's still mad for being eliminated. Back to the training. Kenny, Anthony, Devin, Dimitri, Hawk, Miguel, and Robbie will be the ones remaining. Kenny and Anthony will try to attack Devin, trying to take her flags, but she was able to outsmart both of them by throwing them off by asking off-topic questions, and this will catch Mike Barnes' eyes as she steals some flags from Kenny and Anthony. At the same time, Dimitri will get his flags taken away from him by Robbie, and Miguel and Hawk will try to attack Robbie for his flags. And Miguel and Hawk will be able to take some, but Kenny, Anthony, and Devin will attack them. And Devin will suggest that they attack Robbie, Hawk, and Miguel because they're the biggest obstacles. And because of this leadership, this will catch Barnes' eyes and sees that the new students are taming up. And Miguel will tell Hawk and Robbie that they should remember the training and guard one person. Miguel will say that he and Robbie will attack and Hawk won't attack, but instead move around and smash the flags instead of fighting any of them. The other two will agree, so Miguel and Robbie will guard Hawk while he takes the flags from the three, but the three will decide to focus on one at a time instead of all three. Because of this, they focused on the strongest first, and the mind of the group being Miguel. And while Robbie and Hawk are trying to steal their flags, they're able to use their speed and height to their advantage and move out of the way of the big three attacks before they take Miguel's flags, disqualifying him from the training exercise, but not eliminated. Barnes will tell Miguel that he's done well, and Miguel will say thank you, Sensei. And now with Miguel out, the three will focus on Robbie and Hawk, with Hawk being ganked up on by the three. And Kenny was able to take the flags from Hawk. But Robbie will take Kenny's flags, meaning both Kenny and Hawk are disqualified, leaving Anthony and Devin against Robbie. And after a while, Anthony will be disqualified because Robbie took his flags, but Devin was able to take the flags from Robbie, meaning that Devin is the winner of their exercise. Mike will clap at this, telling Devin well done, and that she is totally ready for the Saikai Taikai. And Devin will smile and nod at Mike. Mike will say that the last few students has impressed him a lot, and because of that, Miguel, Robbie, Hawk, Anthony, Kenny, and Devin will pass. This will shock Dimitri, and he will ask what about him. But Mike will tell Dimitri that he is not ready, and this will upset Dimitri. He always thought of himself as being behind the top fighters, Miguel, Robbie, and Hawk. And now that even Kenny, Devin, and even Anthony are above him, he will show Mike Barnes that he is ready for this tournament. And he'll show this to Mike any way he can. Now the episode would end with Johnny getting ready for his turn for training. Johnny will get his old pitching machine and an axe. Daniel will ask if he really wants to know what the axe is for. And Johnny will say that he'll step up to training. As well, Mike Barnes might be right. They don't know what the Saikai Taikai might throw at them, so he'll embrace what Mike is telling him and step up the training. He's been doing a lot for Daniel recently. He's even got a job at LaRusso Auto, just so he could take care of his children. And if his kids are really participating in the Saikai Taikai, he'll do whatever he can to help them prepare. We will skip to Miyagi-Do, and Daniel will decide that since training will be more intense, to make it convenient, everyone will stay at Miyagi-Do. They have enough room to have all the people who qualify to stay, and everyone will agree. But Tori will be conflicted. Is Daniel serious? After everything she's done, he's allowing her into his home? She's not even qualified in Mike Barnes' eyes to be a part of the Saikai Taikai. So why would she stay? After everything she's done to the LaRusso family, he's still allowing her into his home. And this is the same home she broke into months before. She cannot stay here. She cannot accept this. She has to get out of there. So Tori will start to pack and leave while everyone is having a baby shower since Amanda and Chosen has gotten back, and since everyone is on edge with training and everything with Mr. Miyagi, and because of all of this stress, and all of this is stressing Carmen a bit, especially because this whole time Johnny has been saying how much he hated working at the LaRusso Auto. So Amanda will tell Carmen, since her baby is on the way, they should throw a baby shower. She should know the gender, and it doesn't look like she revealed it to Johnny yet. So it's about as good as the time as ever. Carmen will agree, so everyone will set up, and Devin and Johnny will be tasked to take out the trash. And they'll do so, just to see Tori walk off, and Sam catch up to her. Sam will ask what's wrong, and we'll see that Tori's looking at her phone, and her brother has texted her, saying bad news. Their mother is not breathing, and he doesn't know what to do. Sam stopping her here, telling her to stay, has pushed her over the edge, and she turns around before the episode ends. Episode 5, Pushing Past the Valley. The episode will open up where the last one left off, with Sam and Tori arguing. Sam will ask Tori what's wrong, and Tori will tell Sam that there is no reason for her to stay here. She is disqualified from the training, and she will not be able to participate in the Saikai Taikai. Sam will say that doesn't mean that Tori should leave. They can get stronger together. Tori will tell Sam that she thinks things are getting better because she is in Sam's father's backyard, training. But it's not. Sam's just gonna let go of their rivalry completely. And because of that, they're now both eliminated from being considered for the tournament. Sam will apologize, but will say that that's not a reason to quit. But Tori will tell Sam, enough. She doesn't want to hear it. And she slips up that her mother has passed away. And Sam will understand, and will say that it must be hard to hear that. That it's not only that her mother died, but she'll have to take care of her brother, and will have to go to court because her selfish auntie will try to take her mother's will and get the money from the government and take it for herself, and not use it for her brother. Sam will listen to this, and will understand where Tori is coming from. But Sam will tell Tori that she couldn't quit the dojo. She can still train in the dojo, and her family can help Tori get custody of her brother. Tori will be conflicted, and she'll yell at Sam that she doesn't need her help, and that she can take care of herself. But Sam will tell Tori that she is not alone anymore. All of Miyagi-Do can help her. Robbie, Miguel, her, Daniel, Johnny, Mike, Amanda, and Chosen can help her. Tori will be reluctant, but Johnny and Devin will approach Sam and Tori, telling her that Sam is right, they won't abandon her, and they'll help as much as they can. And if she needs help with family, they can all help. He's been having trouble himself, because Carmen in the dojo isn't giving much money to put in for the baby. That's why he's been working at the dealership. But if she helps them win the Saikai Taikai, more people will come to the dojo, pay for training, and being the best dojo in the world will give them a lot of money. So if Tori helps them win, they can help Tori with her legal battle with her auntie. And when she wins, she can have all the money the government gives her for herself and her brother. And not only that, but he's sure he can't bully Daniel into letting Tori and her brother live with them. Tori will tell Johnny that that's too much, but Johnny will say that nothing is too much taking care of someone you care about. Tori will say that they don't care about her, they just want to use her to win. But Sam will tell Tori, if that's the case, that her mother wouldn't have helped her. Tori will remember what Amanda has done for her, and she'll have a change of heart, and will calm down before Amanda opens the door, asking them, what's taking them so long? Come in, and get ready for the gender reveal. Tori will sigh and nod, before smiling at Sam, Devin, and Johnny, before she enters the house with them, and join in the party, and has a fun pillow fight with Sam, before Carmen, reveals that she is having a girl, and Johnny will say badass as he goes up to Carmen and kisses her. The next day, everyone will be at the LaRusso house, and Johnny will wake up in the morning and tell everyone to wake up. It's time for training. And while Johnny is yelling at everyone, Chosen and Amanda will approach Daniel and tell him their plan. And Daniel asks why they didn't tell him, and they say that Daniel would have probably been angry about everything they've discovered and would think Mr. Miyagi is someone he doesn't recognize anymore. And Daniel would yell at them, saying that Mr. Miyagi was like his father. He should have been filled in before anything happens. Because if Julie really knows something about Miyagi that he doesn't, he's going to be angry. Chosen and Amanda will notice this aggression from Daniel and will tell Daniel, okay, they'll take a break from the Mr. Miyagi thing, and he should focus on training. Daniel will calm down and nod before time passes, and we see Johnny teaching the students, making Tori kick a dummy, knocking down a fence in Miyagi-Do, shocking everyone. And Johnny will think Daniel will be pissed, but he thinks maybe this is a good thing, and they can make a different spot for training, so everyone will make a different training space, which will focus on offense. And Johnny will have an idea, because he did buy an axe for training. So Johnny will cut down some trees, and Johnny will tell the students that, like Sensei Barnes said, the Saikai Taikai will be insane, and the opponents will stop at nothing to win, and they'll even kill their opponents. So Johnny will tell the students that his training will put them all into a near-death experience, starting with kicking a tree. Everyone will be... Kenny and Anthony will ask Johnny if he's crazy. They can't kick a tree back. But Johnny will say, if they're going to be a baby, they can leave, and not expect to have a shot of being considered for the Saikai Taikai. Mike Barnes will find out what Johnny is implying, and will actually agree with this training. Johnny will ask if anyone wants to step up first. Everyone will be quiet for a while, before Dimitri will say that he will. Everyone will look at Dimitri, and will be shocked, but Dimitri will step up and tell Johnny that he's ready. Johnny will be taken aback by this, but he'll tell Dimitri that he's proud of him for stepping up like this, when no one wanted to. Dimitri will get into a fighting position, and Johnny will cut down a tree, and they'll rush towards Dimitri, but instead of letting the tree attack him, he first rushes in and throws the tree. The tree isn't sent back much, but is pushed away from all the other students. Everyone will be shocked, and Johnny and Mike will smirk at Dimitri and tells him well done. And Mike Barnes will say that if Dimitri keeps up with this aggression, he might reconsider his decisions. Now Johnny's training will continue, and everyone will kick trees out of the way. And this will be when Daniel shows up, as he sees his daughter kick a tree, and will ask, what the hell is happening here? And Johnny will explain everything, and Daniel will tell Johnny he's going insane. Mike and Tim are teaching a lot of offense, and he and Chosen is barely able to teach the students. Daniel will tell Johnny to not jeopardize the balance. Johnny will ask who said he wasn't planning on teaching defense. He'll tell Daniel to put on his gi, and he'll show him. Daniel will reluctantly agree before he puts on his gi and sees Johnny's next training session, which will be everyone on a balance wheel, and Johnny will finish a can of beer before putting it in a pitching machine, before throwing the beer bottle at Miguel, who dodges it, and Johnny will say good. He'll pick up the beer bottle and sends it at Robbie, who deflects it, then Tori, who jumps over it, then at Sam, who will try to deflect it, but loses balance and drops into the water. Daniel will say, okay, that's enough, and to stop, but Mike Barnes will tell Daniel to stop. Daniel is about peace, he gets that. But this tournament is nothing peaceful. They have to put the students through crazy training. But Daniel will say no. He's done listening to Barnes. The students shouldn't be put into training like this. From now on, he's taking over the training. But all the senseis won't like this. And even Amanda will tell Daniel, he's being crazy. Maybe just calm down. And get ready to go to court to make sure that lunatic Silver stays in jail. Daniel will agree. So he leaves with Amanda for court. While this happens, Johnny will call off training for the day. saying everyone has done well. Mike Barnes will then tell everyone that an inspector for the Saikai Taikai will come, so everyone should get a rest. The students will agree, and Johnny will get something in the mail, back at his apartment, to a location he recognizes. But why there? Johnny will arrive to the location and finds his childhood apartment, and Johnny will question why. So Johnny will reluctantly go in. He hasn't been there in so long, especially after finding out his stepfather died. He didn't want to visit the place again, but Johnny did so anyways, wandering around the place, remembering things from his past, before he lands on a certain room. His old room. He'll sit on his old bed. Before someone comes into the room, Johnny will get into a fighting position. Before seeing an old man, Johnny will ask, "Who is he?" And the old man will say, "He's Johnny's father." Johnny will be caught off guard before asking, "Why is he here?" And this would throw off Johnny. And the old man will say that he knows the old geezer had left him something. But Johnny will tell his father to leave, even if Sid gave him trust funds. He sure as hell wasn't going to get any. Johnny's father will say that he doesn't want to fight. He just wants the money. But Johnny will say that he's not getting anything. And Sid didn't even leave him anything. They weren't close. Johnny's father will nod at this and leaves. But before he does, Johnny will ask, how did he even find him? And Johnny's father would say, being known around the valley draws out unknown adversaries. Johnny will be confused. But he leaves. And at court, Daniel fights for Silver to stay locked up. But Silver's lawyer will say Daniel, Johnny, and Chosen and Mike basically broke into his property. So if they won't get punished for that, Silver shouldn't get punished for assault or other charges. Daniel will say that take is insane, but the judge has had enough and says that Silver is not guilty and he'll be out the next day. This will throw Daniel off, and Amanda will be terrified, not knowing what this means. They'll go home, and soon everyone will find out, and Tori will be scared, knowing everything Silver has done. But everyone will set that aside, because someone from the Saikai Taikai came, and they want to know who's going to the Saikai Taikai. And who the boys and girls leader will be. The guys will pick Miguel and Robbie to fight for a leader, and the girls will pick Sam and Tori to fight for girl leader. The fights will begin, starting with Sam and Tori. The fight will be insane, with them both countering each other's attacks, and striking 2 for 2. But Sam will land the final blow this time, with it being a turnaround from the past All Valley, and Sam will be the leader for the girls. And at first, Tori will be annoyed, but she sighs and congratulates Sam. Now for Miguel and Robbie, the two will fight, and they'll get 2 points as well, on each other. But the two will land a final point on each other at the exact same time, so the Saikai Taikai inspector will not know what to do. But Miguel will suggest there be 2 male leaders. He's sure he and Robbie can work together. And the inspector will agree, before saying that the Saikai Taikai is in a few weeks. And she'll ask, who will the 6 fighters be? And the senseis will say that the 6 male fighters will be Miguel, Robbie, Hawk, Dimitri, Kenny, and Anthony, while the female fighters will be Sam, Tori, Devin, and 3 other female fighters. The inspector will say okay, then asks, who will be the senseis fighting for this tournament? They'll need at least 1 male sensei and 1 woman sensei. All the senseis are welcome to participate, but they need at least 1 male sensei and 1 woman sensei. The students will look at each other, and Daniel will panic. They don't have a female sensei, but Chosen will get an idea. He'll tell Daniel, remember he and Amanda flew out Julie Pierce. She must have landed in the valley and is making her way here. She'll 99.9% help them win. Daniel will say that it's worth a shot, and will tell the inspector that Julie Pierce will be the woman sensei to fight. But he'll tell the inspector that they aren't sure about their choice, so they should check back in soon. And the inspector will agree, making their leave. And the final thing we see is a car park outside of Miyagi-Do. As a woman walks out, Julie Pierce, the students will see the dojos participating in the Saikai Taikai and sees Cobra Kai from Korea, and they'll all look at each other, wondering if they can really do this. And we'll see Silver get let free, with a smile before a to be continued is shown. And that is how I believe part 1 of season 6 will go. Hopefully I'm able to put out this video before the season drops, because if not, I'll be sad. And this recording is literally an hour and 47 minutes. So yeah, that is a lot of recording. But I really do hope to cut it all the way down and edit it in literally 3 days. But I am going to cut the outro short since this video is way too long. This is like the longest time I've recorded a video. Yeah, as always, remember, a good defense is the best offense.